When we are looking at plastics, what we often need to do is find the monomer, so the starting material. How do we do that? Well, we can look up the structure of our polymer quite easily. This complex looking thing is part of polyvinyl acetate, or PVA. So it can be used as glue. It can also be used to make some really good plastics that actually do kind of dissolve in water, in hot water, which is quite convenient because of this acetate group. It can partially dissolve, which is a really useful property of it. What we notice, hopefully, is we start seeing a bit of a repeating thing. Every second carbon is bound to an oxygen. So what we do is we sort of divide that up, break that up. I'm going to put my bracket through here because every second one has got an oxygen, and I'm going to break it here as well. What I've identified there is the bit that's repeating over and over, so it's the repeating unit. So I've got my repeating unit. Then what I do is I draw my repeating unit out. So I'm going to do that now. So I've got my carbon, and my hydrogen, and my hydrogen. Down the bottom it's got a hydrogen, an oxygen. That oxygen goes to a carbon with an oxygen and an OH. So it's just copying stuff down. I don't need to know the names of these things. I'll tell you how we can infer or guess or work it out. Now if I have a look there, this repeating unit, and it would have a bond there and a bond there, I've taken those bonds away. Because in the monomer, those bonds were formed 1 electron each from in the middle. So if I put those electrons back, then I recreate my double bond. And so now what I've got is my monomer. And because its name is polyvinyl acetate, that monomer is called vinyl acetate. You just take the poly bit off it. And that's how we do it. So when you've got your structure, you look for the bit that keeps repeating. Put brackets around it and identify that as the repeating unit. Copy that repeating unit out below it. Turn its single bond into a double bond, and now you've got it. Look at the original name of the polymer, and that will contain the name of the, sorry, I underlined the wrong thing there. That will contain the name of the monomer inside it. Now the name for this is definitely not necessary. All right, so it's a thing we call an ester. So this is called an ester bond in here. We don't need to know that until next year.